Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NEWSBEAT Live's nightly broadcast. Yeah, I guess happy daylight savings because those without time zones shouldn't be pretty general around the world. Well, many people they said that daylight savings was basically based on farming. I mean, I haven't looked it up, but here's my thought process behind it. Basically, I thought maybe the general concept is to move an hour of sunlight from the early morning, when most would sleep through it. But considering that there are not 24 hours in a real day, I mean, you want to talk the amount of time it takes Earth to make a complete circle. We're dealing with like 23 hours, 59 minutes, and a bunch of seconds. So, eventually, over the course, it won't make a big difference maybe in your lifetime or mine, but over the course of tens of millions of years, you're going to be like, why is it suddenly dark during what was supposed to be the daylight hours and vice versa? And then who knows what they do with the times. 24 hours easier to remember. Nonetheless, welcome to Newsbeat Nightly. And let's just get right into the swing of things. So, I think I was talking to you guys about a couple plays, and I wanted to really bring up a really nice spotlight play here. And just some of the names, of course, that we're watching from last week. Let's just go right through it. So I was watching letter W, and this was one of the names I said, like, look, this stock could explode out. It's putting in a big hammer type barb of the 200 moving average and descending support. Now it ran into resistance, and just like that, it looks bearish to me again. Granted, it took it a nice 7-point move to the upside for me to flip the script. But the biggest part, I think, of our trade was really coming from Starbucks. And, somebody in the room, Gilbert, brought this one up to us. And I was able to crush it. And a lot of people in the room were. And I keep telling you guys this, and I keep explaining to you guys. Many people ask me, as we've had dozens and dozens, this whole YouTube thing, so many people, I would say about 50% of you signed up from YouTube into my room, which is kind of phenomenal considering the majority of YouTubers, they like to log in, they want something for free, it gets delivered to them, it's entertainment, it's educational, and you spend your time doing it, and you get to learn something, and that's fair enough. But for the most part, I can give you great plays like W and things like that. But on the day of trading, certain setups occur that are really impossible to predict for the next day. So in a name like Starbucks here, the call was to basically just go long in the morning, right off the open, and see where it goes. And I keep, and I have to go back to this, and you're going to appreciate what I'm about to do right now. You guys will really appreciate it. I was telling you how stock is a scam, for the most part. Not all the time. For the most part, in certain situations, it's justified. I agree that not all stock is a scam, but the idea, I'm saying the idea that people should only trade stock, that's a scam. That is a scam. And we spoke about the commissions and whatnot, but what I want to talk about now is the profit potential. So when I was buying these Starbucks in the morning, now I'm going to pull up a 5-minute of Starbucks from Friday, and I just wanted, and I was really thinking hard about this, and don't get intimidated by all these lines and fancy things. Just look at the candlesticks here. Look at the candlestick. So basically, Starbucks went from 54.05 to 56.88, a $2.80 move in a matter of 30 minutes. So, NewsBeat Live, we were actually the people who started buying the calls in the room. Like, when we punched it up early, there was almost no volume in it whatsoever. There was like less than 50 contracts traded. And we started buying, I mean, our room bought over 1,500 of them. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we were very responsible for causing that early option activity in the $55 calls. And the beautiful thing about this trade was the risk reward. And now that's why I'm going to show you why you've probably been lied to your whole life when you were told, if you were told, and I was told this, so I was lied to. It's nothing, that most of us haven't experienced, is that options are too risky. When it's funny, it's not only are they not too risky, but they are maybe 95% less risky than stock in a lot of situations. I'm generalizing. Nothing's 100%, right? But it's a pretty large generalization to ignore. So I took literally a few $1,000s worth of calls. A few $1,000s worth of calls. For me, which is a very light position, as I do explain in the room. And those calls were trading as low as 6 cents. You could have bought the 6-cent calls in the morning. I mean, not throughout the day. I mean, in the morning, you could have bought those Starbucks $55 calls at 6 cents. And I bought a few thousand of them. Few thousand, not I wish I bought a few thousand of them. A few $1,000s worth of them. And what happened was those calls, they exploded through the roof. The stock hit 56.94. So those calls were basically $2. The calls went from 6 cents to $2. Now I'm going to explain to you why everything you've been doing was risking more money, needing more money to risk more money to make less money. And I'm going to show you that right now. So those calls went from 6 cents to $2, right? Okay. Let's say I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I want to say, let's say you bought 2,000 shares of Starbucks at the dead low. Let's say you bought it at 54.05 on Friday. 2,000 shares of Starbucks. How much would that cost you at 54.05? For number's sake, let's call it $108,000 for 2,000 shares. So you need $108,000 in buying power. Now, a lot of you guys are on margin accounts with your little 4-to-1 leverage, and the $108,000 in buying power, you need $27,000 in cash in your account to be completely tied up for that $108,000. And may I remind you, you pay money to borrow that money on margin, as you already know, if you actually read your statements. But let's say, forget about that. Let's say you paid nothing. It was just, $108,000 in buying power to buy those 2,000 shares of Starbucks at day lows. Let's say you caught the dead low. You're just the man. You are the man. Not only did you buy at the day lows, you got 2,000 shares. Your P&L was up right away. And let's say, and granted we're in hypotheticals here, the stock went to 56.94. Let's make the number simple. Instead of buying 55.04, you bought $55 and you sold it at 57 because it basically ran up $2. All right. So if you bought 2,000 shares of Starbucks at $54 and you sold 2,000 shares of Starbucks at $56, how much money did you make? Well, you made 2 points on 2,000 shares. You made $4,000, and you're probably very happy for the day. With a $108,000 bet, you made $4,000 because you traded it perfectly. You are the man, right? Okay. Let's say if you were wrong. You made 2 points. Let's make up a number. We're hypothetically speaking here, right? I mean, I'm showing you why you're going to change your trading and the way you open up your accounts, why you're going to take money out of your account if you have a lot in it, or why you're going to open up a new account with very little money. So let's say you made 2 points. What were you risking? I'm going to make a number up. Let's say you were risking a point, which is fair enough. It's a 2-to-1 risk reward in your favor. If you lose a point on 2,000 shares, you'll lose $2,000, right? If you were right, you would make $4,000, right? Now let me flip the script. What if you bought... You guys are going to like this one. What if you guys bought $2,000 worth of Starbucks $55 calls on Friday? And instead of risking $1,000, I want you to risk the full amount. So if you are risking actually $1,000 on $2,000 on the other trade, you're risking $2,000 on this trade. Fair enough. The most you could lose is $2,000. The only difference is if Starbucks gets halted and has bad news, you're gonna. If you're holding 2,000 shares, it could open up a lot lower. Your options would only still be down 2,000. So right away, you're in less risk. So you buy $2,000 worth of calls. They were trading as low as 6 cents, but I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt this time. I am going to say that you paid 10 cents for them. You paid over 50% higher than the day lows on that day of Starbucks on Friday. So bear with me here. So you're buying a 10-cent option. That's $10. If you buy $2,000 worth, how many calls do you have? You have 200 calls. Now those 200 calls at 10 cents went as high as $2. If you sold those 200 calls perfectly, you would be up approximately, a little less, $38,000. $38,000. Let me flip the script again. Might as well, right? Let me flip the script again. If you bet $200 on those $55 calls at 10 cents and you sold them at the highs, you would be up $3,800. So with a $200 bet, and that's all the money you needed to take that trade, $200, as opposed to $108,000 with Starbucks on the 2,000 shares, you would have made more money. Now I'm going to break it down one more time to make it even easier so you guys could just see the hypocrisy and the bullshit of Wall Street unfurl between your eyes. And you should really see this because I know a lot of you guys are still doing it out there. I have to show it to you. So we're talking about Starbucks on Friday. That was 11/3/17. Let's say you bought the day lows. You bought 2,000 shares at $54. How much did that cost you? $108,000. Here's your entry. Your stop loss, we're risking a point, right? Because we're risking a point because, you know, you're making 2 points, might as well risk one. I mean, I'm just using basic logic. Stop loss at $53 and your take profit level, and I have to really show you guys this because this is actually helping me in the way I trade as well. No, your take profit, excuse me, is at right there, $56. We made 2 points, right? So I'm going to refer back to the chart. We're talking about Starbucks on Friday, right? So check this out. So your stop loss is here. So if it went down a point against you, loss of 2,000. If it went up with you and you sold the day highs, I'm giving you every benefit of the doubt. Granted, you're probably going to be somewhere in the middle, like every other human being on the planet. So first off, this is how you did it with stock on Starbucks. You took a $108,000 investment. You bought at 54. Your stop loss was randomly. I made up 53, which never even hit because it went up. You bought at day lows. Remember, it couldn't have gone against you. So you would have lost 2,000. You would have gained 4,000. Now, I'm going to show you Starbucks via options. So your entry was long. I mean, I could just make up the numbers and you could see how them. Let's say 50 of the $55 calls at 10 cents. And that is a $500 investment. Now, when I say $500 investment, I'm saying if Starbucks gets halted and files bankruptcy, which is obviously extremely unlikely, you're going to lose $500. In the first case scenario, if Starbucks do it, you lose $108,000 and your account just blew up. So let's just be perfectly clear. Very unlikely scenario. Nothing to really think and worry about all the time, but let's just be honest here, right? Stop loss equals no stop loss. You lose $500 in the worst case scenario. No matter what Starbucks does, no matter what it does, the most amount of pain you will feel through that trade is $500. And even as it's going against you, you're not going to be down $500 right away. You'll be down $50, $100, $200, $150, $75, $25. So you're risking $500 on the Starbucks calls. Now, your take profit level, and again, since we're giving the benefit of the doubt on both ends, was the day highs of $56. So the take profit level was at $56. And you made on those 50 calls approximately, for numbers' sake, $10,000. Gain of $10,000 without a stop loss. Stop losses, many times, are a scam. Not taking a loss on a trade. Don't misconstrue my words. But a stop loss is a scam. It is. It's a scam. Why? I'll explain to you. Because when you put in your stop loss order, there are brokers. Merrill Lynch is one of those scumbags. Goldman Sachs, another one of those scumbags. Morgan Stanley, another one of those scumbags. Who will literally, these asshats, will literally sell your information of a stop loss to an algorithmic based computer program or a company running one that will utilize that information to abuse you. How many of you guys feel sometimes like the black boxes or the robots know exactly how to stop you out and then turn around and go in the direction you want? And I know I keep preaching this because it's so important. Many of you felt that way. I felt that way. I'm sure every single person in this room who's trades intraday felt that way. Every single one of you who traded intraday felt that way. So what I did was I actually bet a few $1,000s in Starbucks, and I took it in a couple accounts, and for me this trade was worth over $25,000. And if I was wrong, I would have lost probably about $5,000. When I'm wrong, I mean everything expires worthless. Like the worst case scenario. So when I tell you guys you joining the room is going to bring value to me through trades, I mean it, because this is a trade that I didn't come up with. This is the trade that I exploited from a member of our room, Gilbert. He brought this trade to our attention. Today he shares his entries, he shares what he's doing, he shares what he's thinking. Ton of value. Out of nowhere, he just brought this up. I have no idea that he was going to bring it up. Our room pounced on this trade. And that's why I explained to you one of the biggest things that we do is pretty much none of my income, less than 0.1% of my income, comes from running this broadcast in which I am talking to you now on T3 Live. I don't make enough money to make it look like it's my worthwhile to run this room. But it is, because I make a lot of money trading off your ideas. Now, you might not think of it. You might be that newbie trader who will maybe just take and take and take and take. But you're going to evolve. And what I have realized that if you put traders in a position to evolve within this market, they are going to grow and get better. And when you grow and get better, you are going to take what you have learned to grow and get better, and you are going to share it amongst your peers within the environment in which helped you evolve in the first place. In English, you are going to share it with the people you are around while you are evolving. And that's what you're going to do. You don't know it yet. I promise you. So what I like to do in this room is put you guys in an environment where you can evolve your own strategies. Starbucks? I wouldn't have looked at this shit in a million years. I looked at it because it was earnings. I'm like, okay, fine, I'm ignoring it. That was my take. But I decided to buy it. Why? Because someone in our room brought up a very interesting scenario which worked. And this is what made my entire Friday. And this is also why you should be part of this room. But there's some people who have jobs. You can't sit there and evolve your talents so quickly as a trader who's dedicating his entire or her entire time to trading. So I've, so many people, so they were, again, T3 contacted me. They're like, we want all our broadcasters to use, a very cool phrase or whatever, like, what is your favorite line or whatever. And I said I didn't want to do it because they were like, okay, fine, we'll do it for you. They wanted to give me the teach a man to fish. You feed him for life. Or give a man a fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. And I'm like, no, that's bullshit. Because there are some men and women who want to be given that fish. And there are some men and women who want to be taught to fish. And there are some men and women who want a healthy combination of both. Okay? That's bullshit. I know how to cook. I cook pretty damn well. I've learned. I've experienced hundreds of Zagat restaurants in New York City. Hundreds. I know how to cook. I could cook wow, can I cook? If you want me to cook for you, you'll be like, damn, Mark, this is really good. Does that mean I don't go out to restaurants? Does that mean I don't prefer having someone else cook for me? Does that mean that I'm going to cook every time? Why shouldn't I? It's cheaper. I do a pretty damn good job at it. And I like to eat food. Why wouldn't I? Why do restaurants exist in the first place? None of them are bringing you value. Every single restaurant is a ripoff. Every single one. I promise you. Even McDonald's 99-cent hamburger is a ripoff. You might not notice it, but the quality of meat they're using is so cheap that you couldn't even find it in your grocery stores. You could be like, I want McDonald's quality beef. Can you sell me some? And they'll be like, we don't even carry that garbage. I'm sorry, sir. You're going to have to I don't even know how to help you. We don't even sell that crap. That's what they would tell you. So what I wanted to do with this room, my new focus is not only putting traders in an environment to evolve and increase their skills, in which they will help not only me but the entire room later, but I really want to put traders in an environment where I can give them a fish or someone else can give them a fish. In this case, it was a member of our room giving the fish. And we can teach you how to fish. So I really wanted to create an environment where you get everything. Everything. You could piggyback on all our ideas and do nothing yourself. You can learn, do a combination of your ideas or just your ideas or my ideas or some combination of both. But if you're in this room, you will evolve and you will get better. Win or lose or draw at the end of the day, you will be better. So what I did was with our Forex service, which we haven't gotten any real big fills in the past week or two. Sometimes that happens. I fight for every single one of my Forex fills. Sometimes I have a ton of orders getting filled left and right, and sometimes I don't. And I'm fine with that. It's called discipline. So I will put you in that environment of discipline. I can put you in the environment where if you just want to take someone's fish and eat for a day without learning how to fish, I'm fine with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you're paying for a service, if you're paying $200, $100, $90 for a service, especially a stock market service, wouldn't you think that you should be able to get a lot more money than that in return? I mean, I would love to shoot for a 50 to 100-fold return, but if you're spending, for example, $100 on a service or a room, you should be able to make like 500 to 1,000 a month on that service, like minimally, right? On average, right? And that's very modest numbers, right? When you buy an education and they charge you, $2, $3, $4,000 for something, you should be able to make a lot more money in the long run trading. And I got to watch all the videos and all these educational programs and everything out there, and they're all just bullshit. They're not bullshit in terms of there are no traders who come out and make money off those programs. They're bullshit in terms of almost every single one of those traders won't come out there and make money, because making money has to come from you, and coming from you, you have to be in an environment to evolve. And if you are being stuck in a certain educational program that's telling you this is the way you do it and this is the way you do it, and you can't make money 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 and you just never make money, your P&L's just like down, 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 down. Not only did they now, besides giving you shitty education, which they, put a nice little fancy red bow tie on and sold you as, the next best thing. But now they put you in an environment that's impossible to evolve from. And you can't get better even if you wanted to. Imagine you go to window fixing school, and then the first thing I tell you is to take a hammer and throw it through the window. And you're like, I can't fix this window. I keep breaking it. You're never going to learn. You'll never get it. It'll just come to a point where you just give up and fail. So that's why I'm creating this environment for you guys, and I do believe in it, and I do believe that you guys will improve as traders in the long run. That being said, I'm going to finish up the Forex trades. Again, you guys get a very, very, very large account here, and what I like to do is share with you guys my trades. In the meanwhile, whoops, that was my example. Don't need to save it. Let's see, count history. Yeah, not a lot of fills recently on Forex. Probably be up a lot more money if we were. So I'm just going to finish my Forex trades. I'm going to share with you guys my game plan. And after that, I'm going to share with you all my live Forex trades, which is, for lack of a better term, giving a man a fish. And there's nothing wrong with that. People frown upon it. Oh, you should be able to catch your own fish. Have you ever been to America? What kind of bullshit is that? You're telling me Will Smith's kids are good actors? You're telling me some of the best actors and actresses I've seen is, Will Smith's children. Okay, well, they're still making tens of millions of dollars as actors and actresses. You're telling me that they weren't born into a situation which helped them achieve that? You're telling me if they were born to different parents that they would have been, child stars anyway? Nobody really believes that. And that's fine because it's not true. Sometimes you just have to give first before you take. And that was the whole point of my room. And that is why I kept reiterating that, eventually it's going to be you guys who give back to me. 1.16405, 1.16405. Will be you guys, I can give you for the time being 1.16931. And 1.155. You want to talk risk reward. This is good risk reward. The euro US dollars. Well, whoops. What am I doing? Whoops. Had the wrong thing up completely. People, so this whole service, I figured with the amount of 15.7, yeah, that's about right. Take that profit instead. Many people, when I talk to them like that, everybody will initially tell you, they want to be taught how to fish, but that's generally not all the time. A lot of times it's not true. It's mostly not true for the people who have jobs. Oh, you're a full-time what? Dentist, lawyer, attorney, engineer, lawnmower, landscaper, graphic designer. It doesn't matter what your job particularly is. It really comes down to what it isn't. 0.65073. And that's a full-time trader. 0.65073. So what I'm doing here, is actually trying to is just literally give you all my ideas laid out beautifully for you. 1.63839. 63839. And with the intent that you're going to make money in the market by just duplicating these orders. Granted, for legal purposes, this is for educational purposes only, which I love when people say that. 1.28887, because that's how screwed up the U.S. is with their laws. 1.28887. Because what I feel like saying is this isn't for educational purposes only. This is me sharing, one of the most consistent Forex accounts you'll ever see, and sharing with you my entries, my stop loss, and take profit. What do I think you're going to do with it? I wonder. I wonder what your intentions with this information is. And everybody always tries to be politically correct in the market, and I can't take it. I'm not a politically correct trader. People who are politically correct are just generally lying to themselves. I'm cool with being nice. I mean, be a nice person. I'm not saying, be an ass. You see, you don't need to be mean to people to not be politically correct. I mean, don't be nasty, but I mean, I just can't handle the bullshit anymore, 0.86372. It just gets to a point where, I've been a broadcaster for so long. 0.86372, and as soon as I'm done with this Forex, I'm just talking as I do these trades, so I'm not wasting anyone's time. 0.85. Don't like this risk reward. This one I do though. 1.29171, 1.29171, 1.29171. And look, everybody trader or not, as you've all made mistakes in your life. Just stop walking around and acting like your shit doesn't stink. Like some of these programs and whatnot, like I was talking to somebody, and I think it was in March of this year. I had like a bad month. I ended up making like, I think it was like $3,200 this year in like March. And we were speaking at a table of very successful people and investors. And, like, what was, the worst time you had this year in this market rally? And that was one of the conversations in which they were bringing up 0.28523 and the take profit level. So I basically was, referring to that month in March, 1.298. And then this other person who I know, and one of my coworkers, let's just put that nicely, was talking about a strategy that just always works. Always works. This strategy, it just always works. I'm like, that's nice, okay. 0.88664, 0.88664. So this strategy always works. So of course everybody at the table is like, what kind of strategy is that? What kind of strategy are you talking about? Sell limit. It's like, what strategy is that? And he starts explaining his strategy and whatnot. And of course me, being, this is why I think people sometimes around me, some of my coworkers, I'm not their biggest fans. And so he basically starts talking about this strategy, and he was taking questions. Nice enough, right? Taking questions on the strategy. So everybody's asking, all right, so what do you do when this happens? Just basically talking about a certain candlestick formation that works. And it's like, when did you figure this out? And he's like, I figured it out over the past, 14 months. I figured it out, right before, the elections last year, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm like, so you knew this strategy for 14 months. If it was a new strategy, whatever, I wouldn't ask the question. But you knew this strategy for 14 months. God bless you. Very nice. Well done. How much money did you make off it? And I shit you not, he looked at me like his eyes turned red with flames spitting out of them. And I was like, and I'm looking around at my fellow colleagues, and they're all looking still at him, not at me. And he stopped and he says, well, it's been working out pretty well for me overall. And I said, okay. You want to be one of those modest son of a bitches who don't like to talk about their P&L? I get it. I respect that. Are you up over 4 figures? Are you up over $1,000 on this strategy? Are you up 5 figures? Or are you up 6 figures plus? That's it. That was my only question. And he basically said in an angry voice, I'm telling you, he got so mad, and it just happened. And he said with an angry voice, and he's like, I'm not here to share what I do with other people like that. And I'm like, you're not here to do what you share with other people, but you're telling us a strategy. You're here at you're here at a little conference to talk about what you're doing well, and you're sharing a strategy, but you don't want to share that. I was very vague with my terms. I didn't ask you to give me an exact dollar amount, okay? Would not answer me, got mad at me, called me an asshole. Is that a wrong word to say? Called me an asshole. And every one of my fellow coworkers all looked at me and say, I don't know what the hell's wrong with that guy. Like that. Like they felt bad for me because, when you just catch somebody in that bullshit, it's just this feeling that like you just... I have all my trades here too, guys. One moment. Like you just catch somebody in that initial bullshit, and Like me, I don't care. You want to lie to me about something, whatever. I don't care. But when you're dealing with a room and you're dealing with traders who are risking tens of millions of dollars on these ideas, being the bullshit artist doesn't cut it because now you're doing financial damage to people. Like, intentionally. And that I can't live with. So here's all my Forex orders and my stock orders. If you wish to screenshot them, you can. Very simple on the Forex side. Type, buy or sell, size, these are standard lots. Symbol, what symbol I'm trading. Price, that's my entry price. SL, that's my stop loss. And TP, that's my take profit. These are the names I'm watching tomorrow. I may or may not trade any of these names. And if you have any questions, I can't read your YouTube chat. You guys could talk with each other, but if you wish to have me answer a question for you live right now, email and ask. mark.melnick@t3live.com. Now I'm going to get to all of your questions. So good evening, guys. Yeah. Can you save over there? It is. Why is it sunny at 4 a.m.? Yeah, exactly. Horse meat. In Europe they found what they call equine, EQUINE, is it? Which obviously, EQU is, I believe, the prefix for horse, so horse meat. So they did find traces of horse meat in some of the fast food joints over in Europe. And horse meat, if you weren't aware, is very illegal in the United States of America. And just one of those proteins. I mean, look, it's just one of those meats I don't want to try. And it could be the most delicious thing on the planet. You might be like, Mark, you're missing out. You have to have horse meat. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. You've got to give it a try. And I'd be like, nah, no thank you. I'll pass. You know, one of those types of things. Has to be, some people have to like it. Where is support on Goodyear Tire and UPS? Okay, let's take a look at some of the names you're watching, and then I'm going to go over the names I'm watching as well. I'm going to go over my game plan. I generally do that first and then take your questions. Call it a daylight savings mix-up. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, we're talking like under $27 on Goodyear Tire, Lauren. I can't give you anything better than that currently. I mean, let's take a look at this. I mean, the best one for tomorrow I could give you is like 27.25. It's just a mile away. And UPS support. Ooh, nice breakdown on UPS. What is the closest support I can give you on a UPS? Wow. I mean, again, Lauren, we're talking miles away. It's funny. $103 and change. I'll set an alert there, but it's funny on names like UPS. It's funny on names like UPS because you're wondering why the support is so far away. It's because the stock basically ran from May of $102 to $121 and now just started breaking down. So miles away, unfortunately, just like your Goodyear Tire. JD, I'll talk more about the earnings on the day because I really don't have an opinion right now. I'd have to do a little more due diligence on it to have a statistical thought. Currently, with the way JD is set up, I'm bearish. To me, yeah, you bottomed out on a nice like hammer bar here. I like that, but now you're in the middle of a descending channel. 60-40 bearish bullish. So more bearish on that one, Josh. And if you're talking about long, we're looking at levels like 35 and a quarter, and that level keeps going down every day. The story reminds you of an Arnold Schwarzenegger quote. I have to see this.
Come on, don't bullshit me.
Haha. Yeah, that is kind of funny. The little "come on, don't bullshit me" one. Yeah, that's good. Horse meat is not necessarily bad. Again, one of those things that I'll take. I know a lot of people. I know there are people around the world who swear by it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Chicago Bridge and Iron. Ugh. What the hell happened here? Just started breaking out on increasing volume off of a bearish engulfing bar. I mean, my gut instinct on this wants to say a bearish engulfing bar is about to fail here. Very important to watch it tomorrow. You're going to need to hold above 1606. But you see how they increase the volume right here? You see like how you got that little volume increase and you broke through three moving averages and held it? This is a very weird, unique situation, Priyanka. There's no support nearby per se, but if you're long it already, I mean, wow. I mean, it's unique. Doesn't mean I like it. I think it goes high. My gut says I want to go higher, but I don't have enough even data to support buying or selling a chart pattern like this. It's just rare. Look at that. See, if I can't give you a smart answer, I just admit it to you and say I can't. You know, AbbVie looks like you're going to resolve tomorrow. I mean, you already resolved on Friday, but the maximum resolution date was by tomorrow on Monday, so you probably break out to the upside. I don't see any reason short of a market collapse that AbbVie doesn't hit $100 for solar. Still like it. I think you're going to break through 61.47. You guys do know I did put a $100 target, right? $100 target on First Solar. I think it heads higher. Lululemon. Ew. Kind of tail. You know, not to sound like some, dirty pervert here, but I mean, do you really want to chase this tail? I mean, look at that. I mean, this is just, oh God, just indecisiveness. It's like going with my ex-wife to a shopping mall, and it's like she has like three credit cards on her, and I'm looking around, and I'm just in this stupefied gaze of everything going around, looking up, and like, what are all these things? And like, I don't know where to go. I just want to like curl up into a fetal position and say, just meet me by the front of Macy's. I'll just be right here. Just just come back and kick me a little when you return. That's what I feel about this Lulu from here. It just looks bad. No conviction. Support tomorrow 59.86. The trade desk bullish overall and a nice little neat descending channel. You're right in the middle of it, so neutral, but still bullish on the long term. 61.62 support on TTD. TripAdvisor. Can't give stock picks or investment advice, but you could give trip advice. Aha. Breaking out for the first time of descending resistance since October 5th. Fair enough, since a month ago. Breakout level 38.94. Simple. Of course, lumber liquidators bearish. I think you knew I was gonna go in that direction. Um, God, I just need to delete these drawings. Combobulated. Okay. Looks like a little tightening channel type thing. It's bearish overall. Best place to short for me, 33.71. It absolutely means something, Barbara. Statistical analysis is key. I'm probably done with this trade. I gave it a shot. I was buying it around these levels. Have a few calls when I'm going to lose 300-400 bucks. I probably just end up doing that if we start breaking down tomorrow. But yes, it does mean something, and it's definitely something to keep an eye on. ON reports tomorrow morning. That should be interesting. We'll be watching all the earnings plays tomorrow morning as well. I sure did. You see what you're saying there, Barbara? I love things like that. You're noting things that are very important. And to me, I'm in love with data like that. So it definitely means something, and it's definitely something we should be looking into. Yeah, we had a very nice run on this one, Reinhold, and I think, I mean, we capitalized on this one so well because we were buying this thing, pretty much by $50 here on Monday, and the stock just on October 16th, Monday is what I mean, the bottom here, and then it just exploded up like 10 points the next day. I ended up chucking my calls, as you know, for a nice profit. At this point, you're holding support. You are dealing with a bearish wedge. I mean, just simply because of how it dropped like this, Rhino. I'm bearish on it based on technical setup, bullish on it based on fundamentals of the company. It's a great question. All right. Okay. Io, that's one of the moons of Jupiter. And it's funny how it's a very hot lava like moon of Jupiter, yet it's an oil and gas equipment services, which does not go well with fire. Just a random irony with this one. IO is for irony. Looking at IO though, I mean, I just need to remind you that these shares were once $273. The breakout is absolutely beautiful, and I'm going to end up watching it. You did digest in volume on Friday, meaning you did more volume obviously on Thursday, probably earnings, right? As opposed to Friday, look for maybe a little digestive pattern and then a potential entry with maybe $15 January or February or March calls for next year. That's how I think we go about this one. In EFX, hey, we have a bunch of people, and they claim now that there was no insider trading. We didn't know that we were hiding information from the public. That is the sorriest excuse of garbage I've ever heard. Put that in front of a jury. Let's see what they think about that. They claim they had no idea that they were hacked. Yeah, oh, we're on the board of the company. We knew months ago, but these board members who sold shares, they didn't know anything. We don't want to go to jail, even though we did something corrupt. Don't look at us. It looks extremely bearish to me. I don't see any reason why this doesn't retest and break $90. In terms of reporting earnings, I don't know. I would imagine, I couldn't imagine their forecast being strong going forward. What are they going to say? After we gave out over 100 million personal information from all our clients, we see them renewing up with us and even doubling their services because they want more of it. I mean, just the whole company looks like garbage. So I'm going to go over now. Want to go over some of these names real quick. My names. And then I'm gonna get to Jeff's question and forward. Okay. So HFC was a little name we're watching on earnings. It was on the game plan from Thursday into Friday. Put in this nice little inside candle, triangle wedge. Guess what happens tomorrow? You resolve. As a result, I'm talking bullishly on HFC here. Next, Juno. I have a small call position, bullish doji. I think we could get follow through on Juno. Very simple, right? Qualcomm, QCOM. They reported earnings. Street liked it. I mean, I like it as well. I like the type of breakout that it's having here. Beautiful. I would look for follow through from Friday's high, 64.99. Maybe we get some $65 calls in Qualcomm. All right, so Twitter, I actually doubled in my position here. So in case you guys didn't know, I started buying Twitter. I know I put the $24 target on it on Thursday. The stock shot up a little less than 10% right after I did that, and then it digested back down, and this is where I bought it. So I am long some $20 November Twitter calls. as well. So nonetheless, you've been holding up beautifully here. Got a small close above the exponential 8 here. And I think Twitter's going to go up. That's why I'm mentioning Twitter bullish. Still have a couple bearish names. Finisar off the bad earnings. Nice little bearish doji. I think this one could break down through 1888. Still looks negative and weak to me off of that bad earnings here on Finisar. Next is GoGo. Do they make the in-flight service? I was bashing this in-flight service like for so long. To me, it came to a point where like GoGo service was so bad, I would have rather not had internet than had internet at that point. Like Google's webpage took me like 5 minutes to like open up, and I'm just like, you know what? I can't go to google.com. Something is seriously wrong here. I got to get rid of this. Nonetheless, investors also think they suck. Bearish doji, bearish engulfing bar on earnings, still looks weak. $8.63 my breakdown level on GoGo. So that's just a little coverage of the names I'm watching. I'll be right back in 1 minute and I'll get to your questions, Pablo. Okay. Hey guys, I'm back. Thank you for waiting. Juno, bullish doji, still got a position there, Pablo. V-Ray, very bullish. Not sure why it popped up, but I can tell you $8.82 is a very important level. It's an A plus trigger and you can get explosive volume through there. So definitely keep an eye on V-Ray 882. So Cure finally raised up in volume a little. It looks like it finally resolved. I know Peter was watching this one as well. It's going to need a little more volume, but it looks like you're finally breaking out. Definitely keep an eye on that. And of course, Netflix, I was looking for it to break 200. Oh, I guess it did on Friday. $200.55, probably after I left. All-time high 204.38. I don't see any reason why it doesn't get there. IBB. Um, yeah, I mean, wow. The more and more Donald Trump keeps talking about an opioid epidemic, the harder it is for these companies who sell these opioids. Let's just be honest. And yes, we do have an opioid epidemic. Is it the drug company's fault? Is it the pharmacy's fault? Is it the doctor's fault? I mean, we could point this finger all day. It still looks bearish to me, Reinhold, but it could have a potential dead cat bounce. Oh, bro, is that what's happening with Qualcomm? Okay, because they went down on earnings and then yeah, I could see that. That's cool. Appreciate that, Bubble. Facebook, bullish overall, needs to digest more for me to get excited. And Apple exploded up on earnings, pulled in underneath ascending resistance. You know where Apple is going in my humble thoughts? 168.50. I would be surprised if Apple didn't drop 4 points off this level. I think Apple's going to do that this week. So let's be perfectly clear with my conviction. Why? Too bullish for your own good. I have ascending resistance here. You gapped up above it and you failed below it. Apple needs to pull in. $4 down move target. 168.50 next target in Apple. Yeah, well, IBB is a compilation of a basket of these stocks. Are you sure that there's none of them that are responsible for the opioid epidemics? I have to look at the ETF, but you might be right, Reinhold. It's definitely getting punished though with the whole industry. And last but not least, Amazon, very bullish. It's just supremely bullish. Just taking over the world type bullish. Just what a gorgeous bull flag. It looks like it's just going to explode. Pretty nuts. But I hope you guys enjoyed the NewsBeat nightly trading broadcast. Happy trading, make money, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning on the NewsBeat live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful evening.